Welcome in. It is Wednesday. We are live. It is Wednesday live chat. It is 3 p.m. Eastern time. And boy, it feels good to be back. I made this announcement a little bit earlier in the week. We're just going back to this time slot, right? Like, who cares? I tried Tuesdays. I think it was objectively a worse show because we didn't have as much information on weather and projected ownership. I didn't like doing it on Tuesdays. I thought it would be better for my other responsibilities. I was wrong. That's on me. We're going back to Wednesday, 3 p.m. Eastern time until further notice, which means, I just changed my mind again. But I do think that this is the right thing to do. It was met with some great positive reaction. So yes, here we go. We will ride in this time slot. This is the live chat. RBC Heritage, Corrales, Punta Cana, Volvo, China Open, whatever you want to talk about. This time is yours. We can just spend the next 90 minutes talking about Rory winning the Masters. I don't care. Maybe I can pull up some photos and some videos that I have from Wednesday's practice round or Tuesday or whatever. But I'm here for you. I don't care. I've got nothing else to do. We'll do as much as you want. Before we jump into your questions, your concerns, your comments, which you should throw them in the chat right now, we are going to do the things that we do every single week at the start of the show. And that is, firstly, the weather. Now, remember, this is a signature event in Harbor Town this week. So there are not real distinct waves. Everyone just goes out in order. I believe if you look at it from just an AM, PM timestamp, the 75% of the field goes out in the morning. And then there's 25% that goes out in literally afternoon, after the 12 o'clock hour. So keep that in mind. But what we have here is Thursday, sunny in mid-70s. Friday, sunny in mid-70s. Saturday, sunny in mid-70s. Sunday, cloudy in mid-70s. Okay, that's pretty clean. Wind. Let's look at wind. 7 to 10 miles an hour during playing hours. On Friday afternoon, a little bit windier. Saturday afternoon, a little bit windier. It's the afternoon winds, right? I would say, we're talking 4 miles an hour here, but Friday's afternoon winds will be worse. Low bar. It's literally 4 miles an hour. I'm not too worried about that. So not really making any distinct weather stacks for this week because of the tee times, because of the small field, and because of the rather small changes in weather. The other thing that I like to look at before we get off to a start, gives us a solid baseline, are the one and done numbers. Remember, this is not projected ownership. This is the actual site-wide selections on officefootballpool.com right now. Millions and millions and millions of selections that have gone in for this week. Patrick Cantlay is the most popular. No surprise there, 16.5%. Jordan Spieth at 10. Xander and everybody else is in single digits. Xander and Collins, 7%. Corey Conners, 6.5%. Ludvig, 5.9%. Scotty, 5.3%. Couple of things to note at this point in one and done leagues. Almost everybody, I shouldn't say that. A large majority have already used Scotty Scheffler. So it is unlikely that at any point moving forward, Scotty Scheffler is going to be 20% owned because there are not that many people who have him available. 5.3% in a field that he is the defending champion, which is very small, which is a no-cut event, which has, this is 3.6 to the winner. Just throwing it out there, letting you know what's going on there. Patrick Cantlay, no surprise to see that he is the most popular because nobody really feels comfortable saving him for a major championship. Nobody really feels comfortable saving him for a bigger event, but this is a pretty big one, and this is the golf course that he has had a lot of great success at. To see Jordan Spieth at 10.3 is a little bit surprising. He is a maniac. I understand he has great results here. I'm probably not as bullish on him as I am on some others. So it's fascinating. I'm sure we can talk more about that later, but let me remind you that our friends over at DraftKings are now running a play free opportunity for your share of millions in prizes with your first deposit. All you have to do is download the DraftKings Daily Fantasy app and enter the promo code RickDFS to play free for your share of millions with that first deposit. That's RickDFS for new DraftKings customers. Just download the Daily Fantasy app for your free shot today. And also remember, the crown is yours. Oh, I like that. I like that a lot. All right, let's jump into your questions, your concerns, your comments. Brandon says, hey, Rick, decided on a whim to take my 9-year-old son tomorrow. His first tournament. Sick. When would you ever use, completely different question. When would you ever use non-weighted strokes gains? That seems like using weighted always handicaps the field properly. All right, Brandon, first off, that's awesome. Have a blast. You guys are going to have fun. It's going to be a really good field. It's a beautiful golf course. It's going to be great. What Brandon is talking about is this. My website, rickrungood.com here. There is an option across the board for either raw or weighted stats. The weighted stats take into account the strength of field, a variety of things, right? You know, the idea of gaining a stroke on approach at the US Open is a lot more impressive than gaining a stroke on approach at Punta Cana, for example, right? So that's the weighted stuff. When would you ever use the raw stats? I think the raw stats are fine for slightly more than half the weeks, right? Anytime you get into just like a regular PGA Tour event, like John Deere Classic, Rocket Mortgage Classic, Wyndham Championship, all of these events where basically everyone is a PGA Tour member, and especially they've been playing a lot, they're playing against each other often. You don't really have to use the weighted stuff. It helps. I agree. That's why it exists. But the weighted stuff really becomes valuable when you have guys from different tours. The Cognizant, you have some PGA Tour players, you have new guys from the Korn Ferry Tour, you might have guys from the Senior Tour playing, you might have guys from the DP World Tour playing, right? Major championships, again, lots of tours converging into one spot. That's where I really think the weighted stuff comes into play. But if it's just the John Deere, if it's the Rocket Mortgage, if it's the Wyndham, you could probably do just fine with just the standard stats. Holy Master, says Philip. Preach, my brother. I'm sure you had an incredible time. I did. I wanted Rosie to win, but not at the cost of what it would have meant for Rory losing it. Rose proved to be a true gentleman. Yeah. So this is actually, it kind of stinks, right? Rosie, we've spent a lot of time talking about this on site. Rosie would have been a great champion. Rosie would have been a Masters champion to be proud of. You know, he is an international, worldwide professional for a very long time. It would have validated, the guys who are one-time major winners feel this need to validate the major, right? The second one validates the first one. And that would have given Rosie a second major championship. He would have been an unbelievable ambassador for the game. He is an Olympic gold medalist. He has won all over the globe. He's a Ryder Cupper. He would have been a great champion, but not at the cost of history, not at the cost of Rory McIlroy and this decade-long drought and achievement and all of that stuff. I still can't even believe it. I think I said it earlier. I see Rory McIlroy in a green jacket and it looks AI generated. I cannot believe it. It is unbelievable. I'm just still unable to wrap my head around it. Brady says, can we get a deep dive on Matt Kuchar? Of course. So great course history indeed. He's won this event. Again, we'll go back to my website here, rickrungood.com. We'll find Matt Kuchar's profile. And it says also how much you value course history at a course like Harbour Town. So we'll get to that in just a second. So here's Kuchar's profile. He is not playing particularly great golf. He hasn't played a lot of golf in 2025. So he started off in January, played 2 events. He did not play at all in February. And then he has started to pick it up a little bit recently, but he's losing strokes on approach in 3 out of his last 4. The putter has been good no matter what. Last time we saw him was at T18 at the Texas Open. His history around this place is very, very strong. So here's the thing. Harbour Town is a unique golf course. It is positional in nature. It has small greens. It has sight lines that are, I don't want to say confusing, maybe more like annoying. Because tree limbs can overhang. So I do think this skews fairly heavily to the course history side of things. And Kuchar's history is great. The other thing that Kuchar gets kind of beat up on is, every single event that he plays on the PGA Tour, he is basically at a little bit of a disadvantage because of that lack of distance. He is not going to be at that disadvantage here. So if there was ever a time to run out a flat $6,000 Matt Kuchar, who has not played a lot of golf recently, now is the time. Thoughts on Ryo as the last man in? Yes, big time. So this is Ryo Hisatsune. That is the pronunciation. That was a perfect pronunciation. Notice I didn't really hit the R. I hit the Hisatsune. That was it. I think I nailed it on that one. Look at the run that he's been on. And this goes back basically to Mexico. So you can see the turn. I guess I'll share my screen. That'll probably make it a little bit easier. The turn of his game from the fall portion where it was kind of Swiss cheese, right? Holes all over the place, starts to put it together in Phoenix, plays much better in Mexico, and then that starts a run. Yes, he misses cuts. He's not the perfect player. Misses the cut at the Cognizant, misses the cut at the Players Championship, but he has 3 top 10 finishes in his last 6 starts, a stat profile that is getting more green in nature, so going more towards that direction, and has the ability to get some really high upside results. Has never played here. A little bit concerning. I do like the experience around this place, but again, not at this price. $6,300, really, really hard to argue with. Also, Andrew says, shout out to Mark and the Second Cut podcast. Yeah, so if you guys haven't seen this, we relaunched this podcast, like just completely independent project. We're going to see how far we can take it with your support. So it's called the Second Cut podcast, which is just a bonkers name. Oh, Armina with the graphic right on top of my face. Thank you very much. Yeah, that's the logo. That's the graphic. That's everything. So we're going 3 times a week starting this week. And yeah, if you can take a second to go subscribe to that, the link is probably in the description. If not, you can get to it off the Rick Run Good YouTube channel. It is more discussion based. You know, I've got Mark Immelman, I've got Greg Ducharme. We'll have other people on. They offer a very unique perspective of the game. We talk a lot about professional golf. We do round recap, stuff like that. So yeah, much appreciated. We're going to try to do it with your support. We're going to try to do it ourselves. Salutations, Rick. Hello, Jake. I really enjoyed the Second Cut last night. My man. All right. How are you feeling on Chris Kirk this week? Also, if you had to pick one golfer from the 10K range to fade, who would it be? They actually just asked me this for HQ. So I'm going to be going on CBS Sports HQ later tonight. I kind of said Scotty. I have to like whisper that, right? Let's talk about this. He's $13,100. He's the defending champion. He has not been as sharp in 2025. It is an incredibly high bar. He's still the best player in this field. I worry a little bit about the left miss off the tee. He is probably going to have to win to pay himself off or close to it. I'm a little bit concerned about that. The other one that would be concerning is it's probably Xander. I love Xander. I'm heavily invested in Xander for the foreseeable future, but this is a golf course that does not really allow him to lean into his strengths. Colin will lean into it. Colin will get a benefit of course fit bump. Ludvig will get a benefit of course fit bump. Justin Thomas will get a benefit of course fit bump. Patrick Cantlay has been awesome here. Xander is going to be great. He just does not get any additional like positive boosts there. Okay. Let's look at Chris Kirk. Would probably help if I spelled his name correctly. Not Kirk Triplett. I got too many guys in the database. Chris Kirk. Let's see what we've got going on with Chris Kirk. All right. Miscut 42nd, 22nd, 56th, miscut. Oh boy. Okay. This is not particularly optimistic. Has some good finishes here. Usually drives it well, or at least I should say gets off at the tee well, which is something that he's been a little bit mediocre at recently. I'm really concerned about the putting. He's lost strokes putting in, gosh, what is that? 12 of 14, something of that nature. Has struggled putting in 2 of his last 3. Probably not for me. Again, kind of depends on how you want to deploy him. He's only $6,100. It's not like he's a big ask in fantasy. Not really that exciting for me. I lost my spot already. Wow. We're like 5 questions in and I've lost my spot. Okay, here we go. Deborah. Hi, Deb. Says, hey, Rick, thanks. Thoughts on Glover and Novak? In on Glover. So I feel, and this could go very wrong after this week, that I have a very good pulse. Finger on the pulse of Lucas Glover. I knew he was going to stink last week. Sure enough, he stinks last week. That is a bad golf course for him. You know what this is? A good golf course for him. It is a great course fit. I'm actually surprised he hasn't played better here. But accuracy, precision, you don't need length. He's coming off the back-to-back top 8 finishes. He's got high-end upside when he is playing well. Like, this is a much better fit for Lucas Glover. So in there, Novak, I'm not sure how I feel about Andrew Novak. Let's take a little peek, see what we can find here. Okay. Positive there. I'm okay with that. Has never played here. Is that true? Oh, I'm confusing him with Matthew Neesmith. Has gained strokes off the tee in 6 straight. Why are his finishes not better than this? Why is this all green? And he's missed the cut in Houston, missed the cut at the Players, missed the cut in Houston on the number, missed the cut at the Players because he can't putt, missed the cut at the cognizant because he can't putt. Well, his Friday round was really bad in general. I could get behind this. I don't think it's as safe as Glover is, because even when you have a pretty decent stat profile, Novak is like one bad round away, one bad putting round away from costing you the cut line. So it's not like he has a really high floor, even though he has a very solid, like he does two things really well consistently around the green and off the tee, and he's still missing cuts. That's pretty concerning, isn't it? You can't be that big of a positive in half the game. And I guess it's obviously not half. It's 14 tee shots and maybe 6 around the green shots. But still, it's kind of shocking. Second, in a 50-man one and done, do I use the Scotty bullet? I think if you are second in a 50-man one and done, you should just use Cantlay. If you've already used Cantlay, use Scotty. It's fine. It's like you said, it's a small field. Rory's not here. It is still $3.6 million up top. Like, go ahead, have at it. Hey, Rick, I need to get weird in my one and done to make up ground. Thoughts on Thagala? Well, he will definitely be different. 2.6% ownership. I do not love it, to be quite honest with you. I would, if you want to get different, Russell Henley, Sungjae Im, Tommy Fleetwood. I'm not sure I need to get to Sahith here. Hey, Rick, as always, thanks for the amazing content. Thank you. Need to get something going. Sitting on the bottom half on one and done. Thoughts on using Ludvig, Xander, or Conners? I think using Conners would be fine. So Corey Conners is 6.4% projected ownership. I might have mentioned this on the Monday show. He is now using, I think it's a prototype ping. It's not the full-on lab face balance or like lie angle balance putter, but it's like the closest ping does. And I don't think it's available to the public yet. And basically ever since he started using that, he's been picking up a ton of strokes gained putting. So this is an opportunity to just continue to ride the hot hands on a golf course that should be really good for him. I like that. I don't love using Corey Conners in a signature event, but I don't really want to use Xander here for all the reasons that we discussed. You can use Xander anywhere. And then Ludvig is kind of interesting. There's something weird going on with Ludvig's, with Las Vegas and Ludvig. He was a dog, and in some cases, a pretty significant dog to Colin Morikawa, which I thought was shocking. I don't think Ludvig in a 4-round matchup, he probably shouldn't be a dog to anybody except Scotty Scheffler and Rory McIlroy, quite honestly. So I was a little bit confused by that. I don't know if there's something there that I'm missing, but yes, the Connor stuff is for real. Jason says, what about Russell Henley? Is this a smash spot? Let me show you something really quickly. So we're going to go to the Holy Grail. We're going to go to everybody. Actually, let's go by round. Everybody in this field who played the Masters last week. Can I get to it this way? I think I can. Sort by best single round. All right. Rosie, Conners, Ludvig, Scotty, Wyndham, Russell Henley. But Rick, Russell Henley missed the cut last week. That's right, he did. Russell Henley had the 7th best round of anybody at the Masters in this field, gained 4.6 strokes, and missed the cut because his Thursday round was so miserable. His Friday round, unbelievable. 4.5 strokes gained ball striking. He picked up nearly a stroke with the putter and still missed the cut. This is a good course fit for him. That group stunk. Okay. It was like Brooks Koepka. I think it was Brooks, Russell, and Sungjae Im. They looked like they were in a funeral procession on Thursday. It was like totally bizarre energy out of that group. Russell Henley comes back and fires on Friday. Doesn't have to fight in the battle of a major championship weekend. You could argue that's a good thing. We ride. Ken Long, hey Ken, says, hey Rick, who do we like more this week? Harris English or Tom Hoge? I think it is Hoge. And I think in most scenarios, it would have been English. But look at what Tom Hoge is up to. And this is a golf course. Again, it's accuracy off the tee. It is second shot play, and it's the ability to roll in putts. At his best, Tom Hoge does those things at an incredibly high end. And he's doing it better now. He's got 3 straight top 15 finishes. 2 of those are massive events, Sawgrass and Augusta National. He's picked up 17 strokes on approach in his last 12 rounds. He has picked up during those 12 rounds 7.1 strokes putting. Hoochie mama. Those are big numbers. So probably going to roll with Hoge in that spot. Always think of Cantlay and Siwoo as Pete Dye guys. Who else? Well, go to the Holy Grail. Go to Strokes Game Tournament. Click however many years you want. This is back to 2021. Go down to Pete Dye as the architect. Sort by strokes gained total. And see that Scotty Scheffler, Patrick Cantlay, Brian Harman, Xander Schauffele, Justin Thomas, Sungjae Im, Shane Lowry, Corey Conners. Those guys all have at least 13 starts on Pete Dye designed golf courses. Here's Siwoo. Russell Henley's up there as well. Some of the lower, smaller sample size guys. Ludvig only has 5 starts, but 1.2. Minwoo, Berger as well. Berger's just got a lot of fewer starts because he missed basically 2 years. Rick, loving the second cut. Let's go. Let's ride. I think it's going to be pretty special. It's a lot different than like what we do here at Rick Run Good, but also kind of the same. So it's interesting. Can we run a model? Yeah, sure. You buttered me up and now you'll get me to run a model for you. So Thomas says, can we run a model? This is again, my website, rickrungood.com. Custom model ranks everybody in the field based on what you have here. 40% on good drive percentage, 40. 10% on the 3 approach buckets between 100 and 200. So that would be, well, there's 4. Oh no, I guess there's 4. So maybe we'll do 10, 10, 10, 10. Let's see. Now I've got too much. All right, let's do this because I need. I don't think your math is right here, Thomas. You said 40%, then that's 70%, 30. Oh boy. Okay. So 15 bonus putting, 15 harbor town. I'm going to have to get, why is that not adding up for me then? Oh, I did 50 on good drive. That's me, Thomas. It's not you. It's me. Bonus putting. And I was trying to do it with my left hand without looking and I screwed it up. And then strokes gained, harbor town, Thomas's model. Look at this. Scheffler, Morikawa, Victor, Henley, Fleetwood, Lowry, Berger, Glover, Siwoo, and then Sepp Straka at 10. That's interesting, Thomas. Good luck. Good afternoon, Run Good fam. Please tap the thumbs up. Thank you, Greg. Who is the producer's play of the week? That's my wife. Her name is Armina. We call her Mina. She told me earlier that her pick was Davis Thompson. And I went, oh, Davis Thompson. And she said, why did you laugh like that? And I said, I would have said that no matter what, because I was just trying to mess with you. Can we run a model that resembles what your key stats show? 30 on approach. So this is DFS Chef's model here. So let's do, I'm very far zoomed in. It throws me off every time I do this. So 30 on strokes gained approach, the last 36. Thank you, Mina. 30, 20 on accuracy. I'm assuming that's driving accuracy. 10 on par 3s, strokes gained par 3. 10 on scrambling. So that's underneath around the green. 10 on Harbor Town, 10 on short courses. I got to close up some of these. Short courses, 10 on Bermuda putting. DFS Chef's model, Scheffler, DFS Scheffler, Colin Morikawa, Russell Henley, Shane Lowry, Sepp Straka, Daniel Berger. Look at this name, Brian Campbell. It's only a matter of time before somebody was going to ask about Brian Campbell. Might have to get to that here shortly. Tommy Fleetwood, Lucas Glover, Justin Thomas. That is the DFS Chef's model. Hey, Rick, thanks for everything. Finally got knocked off my throne. Oh, still 3rd and 1 and done. Is it my turn to use Cantlay? I think you should probably just use Cantlay. Would you save Scotty for Memorial and 1 and done? Memorial's a Siggy, right? But it's one of the ones with a player attached to it. So it's going to be $4 million to first. There will be a cut, but it'll be a similar field. You're probably going to have Rory there. So is that worth the extra $400,000 that you're going to have to battle Rory? I don't know the answer. I would say I would say Memorial is a better place for Scotty to I mean, it's funny because he wins everywhere, but like, remember he gained like 25 strokes from tee to green there, and that's a place you can really separate yourself. He's still going to gain strokes off the tee this week, obviously, but it's not going to be the way that he normally does it. Hey, Rick, can we get a deep dive on Henley? Yeah, we kind of already talked about Henley. He's been great. I love the bounce back ability. If you want to use him, fire away. Do those Valimaki approach numbers on the last 12 and 24 rustle your jimmies? Oh, they do. Do you plug your nose and play Cam Davis? His form going in has always sucked. Doesn't matter. He loves this course. Yeah, but also didn't we try that? Haven't we tried that before on Cam Davis? Right? Wasn't there somewhere else that we were considering plugging our noses and playing Cam Davis? Was it maybe it wasn't recently. Maybe I was just thinking about it. This is a little much for me to plug my nose on. 5 straight missed cuts, kind of losing across the board. The tee to green numbers are at some points really, really bad. So this is a little bit too much to plug my nose. The Sammy Valimaki stuff, he has been lightning hot. Okay. He was going from putting just 1 round together to putting 2 rounds together to putting 3 and 4 rounds together. It's splendid, right? 4.8 on approach at Texas Open, Houston 8, Valspar 4.2, and then 3.8 for a guy who is 6.2. Is there a salary range of golfers you'd avoid in DFS this week with it being no cut? No, there's not. I mean, I'll just force in the Brian Campbell conversation. Brian Campbell is minimum priced. Brian Campbell won in Mexico, which is insane. Brian Campbell, again, low bar. This has got to be like the best golf course in the world for him, right? Or the best golf course on tour. Accuracy, he is the shortest hitter on tour. This is the golf course with the shortest average drive. He is going to try to separate after everybody is done with their tee shots, which is fine. Everybody's going to play from the same positions. Think about the past winners here. Some of them. I know that Scotty won. I know that Jordan Spieth has won. Webb Simpson, Satoshi Kodaira, Wesley Bryan, Brian Gay, Jim Furyk a couple of times. You do not have to be remotely long here. Did Kisner win this or did he finish second? You do not have to be long here. And that is good news for Brian Campbell because he is not. Thoughts on Ryan Gerard? I'm in. I think I bet him on the Dan on Golf show at top 30 or top 40. Did not play the Masters. Is coming in off 2 top 10 finishes. Has a bunch of top 25 since the start of the year. I'm in on Ryan Gerard. Incredibly talented. Rangefinders this week. Thoughts? Yeah, they're going to use rangefinders this week. Won't really matter. I think it'll be fine. You know, they'll get numbers a little bit faster. You're still going to have caddies walk stuff off. You're still going to have them double checking everything. I'm more interested if we're trying to improve pace of play. If that is the point, then it has to be done on and around the greens. I don't think it's that big of a deal in the fairways and all that stuff. And getting the number, I don't think speeds it up that much. So if the goal is to speed up play, rangefinders are not it. But I think it's fine. I think they should use rangefinders. Thoughts on Sungjae this week? All right. So we have to be a little bit cautious here. And I'm going to throw Sungjae, Max Homa, and even Ludvig to an extent into this conversation. I would argue that those were 3 guys who were playing poorly, go to the Masters and play well. Now, Ludvig only had like 3 bad starts. Sungjae had like 10 bad starts, and Homa had like 30 bad starts. Okay, so it's relative. There is something about Augusta National, and I might have mentioned this on Monday, where there is so much other stuff going on, and you have to consider so many things that it's easy to forget that your swing stinks. And I'm serious. We've seen this before. Phil, like we've seen guys just show up and play well here because you have to think about the ball above and below your feet. You have to think about creativity. You have to think about where it's going to bounce when you're just like, there's so much to process and there's so much immense focus required on every single shot that these guys forget that they're like going through it. Right. And it's not just a flat lie everywhere and it turns into a range contest. These guys can kind of be a little bit more creative, even if they're struggling with their game. All that being said, Sungjae, I think, is interesting. He gained too much around the greens last week at Augusta National to think that that is going to continue. You probably can't even gain 6 strokes around the green around here without chipping in a couple of times. But we are seeing him start to plug the rest of the ball striking categories, start to plug the rest of the putt, like all that stuff. I think he is generally on the way up, but I would not be surprised if Max Homa struggles this week, if Sungjae Im struggles this week, and if Ludvig struggles this week. We are going to find out if those guys are actually on upward trajectories or if they just had a little Augusta National magic, which is a real thing. Good afternoon, Rick. Did you dive further into Zalatoris? Yeah, so I think I'm warming on Zalatoris. I think that there is a pathway to, let's call it a lineup, like 6 guys in a lineup that have a lot of win equity in a signature event with no cut, even if they're not playing well. And again, that's like Victor would be in that category. I think Zalatoris would be in that category. Will Zalatoris is an elite second shot player and has been for a long time. And he has been in 2025, barring the 2 strokes that he lost at the Masters. The problem is the putter. The problem is also the driver. He's not driving it as well as he was. He had to go to that shorter driver. He had to change his driver swing after the back surgery. He's not as strong there, but he doesn't have to hit a lot of drivers around this place. He is going to have to putt well. Now, do you argue that getting on smaller greens is good because you're not going to have really a bunch of long putts, right? You're not going to have any 70 or 80 footers out there where 3 putts come into play. You could argue that. I'd be open to listening to that argument. I see Will Zalatoris as a very cheap guy who could win this golf tournament. So yes, I have warmed on Will. We'll see. Are you betting Rory at 95-1 to win the Denny's breakfast this year? That would be the Grand Slam. No. I mean, I guess it's not the worst bet I've ever heard of, but if you look at this, he is actually probably, you remove the juice or whatever. He's probably like 35% to win another major this year, which is crazy, right? Quail is obviously the best spot in the world for him. Oakmont should be a great setup for him. We'll see as we get closer. And then, of course, Portrush, which is like maybe one of the better open venues for him. He's like a 35% chance to win another major this year. Could you rank Spieth, Lowry, and Straka in order in which you think they will finish? And also also do the same for Denny, Poston, and Hoge. All right. So I'm going Lowry, Spieth, Straka. Then I'm going Hoge, Poston, Denny. Good luck. Start, cut, or bench Conners, Berger, Harman. I am cutting Harman, benching Berger, starting Conners. No cut can get a little freaky. Okay, well, the good news is, Colin, we've talked about all those guys. So you know how I feel about Ryo, I'm in. You know how I feel about Ryan Gerard, I'm in. Let's do Akshay. I don't think we've talked about Akshay. Akshay at this point in the show. Wow. That was not a good, he played with Rory the first 2 days, right? And okay, I must have remember seeing him and following him around on Thursday. Because on Thursday, I was like, wow, he's playing some pretty darn good golf. He didn't play particularly well after that. Played better on Sunday, but wow, I was expecting to see a lot better metrics from the Masters for Akshay. Missed the cut the week before that, the Texas Open. I do not like the way he is hitting it. So I showed this. This is the course key stats page, right? The strokes gained approach is always critical. It is very critical here. And to see a guy hit it the way that he's hitting it concerns me. So probably gonna have to take a pass on Akshay. The other good news is, Colin, is that I do like those other guys. I've answered that. Steven talked about Gerard. Thinking Morikawa and Henley can bounce back. Oh, yeah. Listen, I talked about Henley. We can talk about Colin. I mean, Colin I saw that he's using a new putter. You can say that's good, bad, or indifferent, but I believe he has a new putter in the bag. At least he did on Wednesday. So I assume he's putting it into play. This is a great spot for Colin, is it not? I mean, it's just a matter of if he putts or not. Is he going to gain 2 strokes putting? If he does, he probably wins. And if he doesn't, like he's going to finish T10. This is a great spot for Colin. One of the better golf courses for him. And he's been playing great on a lot of different golf courses. He picked up 3.5 strokes putting here last year. Don't get me wrong. Just because, like, you know, I bet JT, which we could argue about. Like, Colin's great. Hard Rock does a okay. Hard Rock does a 5-player group bet. Would you ever consider being able to add more golfers to the 3 balls? What could I do now to compare? So, yeah. So basically what I'm building now is you'll just be able to choose as many golfers as you want. But really what you could do now is a variety of things. You could go to the custom model, which of course I think I closed out. Let me find this here. Custom model. And you could conceivably filter for those 5 guys, right? So you could put in your weights, you could get your score, all that stuff. And then you could say, just show me, you know, these 5 or however many you want guys. And then you could see the score. You could see their metrics across one another. This would be a fine way to compare right now. But yes, what you're describing, the 3-ball tool that actually goes and actually assigns values to it, right? Actually assigns odds and things like that. The next iteration is basically just an unlimited add as many guys as you want type of tool. Okay. Here's the Bud Cauley deep dive. There is a case to be made for some guys who did not play the Masters last week as that being good. I would listen to it. Bud Cauley did not play. Bud Cauley has got 3 top 6 finishes in a row in a very sustainable method. Unbelievable tee to green play all the way back to Las Vegas. The putter was insane at Sawgrass, but then not as insane, and we're still getting the good results. This is a very good profile. A very good profile. He's probably played here, but it probably hasn't been in a while. Yeah, last time he played here was 2020. He's a completely different golfer since then. He found something in Vegas this year. Actually, you could go back a little bit farther. You could go back to the fall. Go back to the start of the fall. Actually, let's just do that. The start of the fall is September. Let's just go back to my birthday. September 7th. That will be good enough here. We usually go away around my birthday. We usually go to Southern Utah or something like that. We'll go to my birthday because that'll basically be the entirety of the fall. Until now, everybody in this field, and I guess I have to get the Pete Dye off of there. Okay. Bud Cauley is the 6th best player in this field in raw strokes gained. He's picking up a 1.35 strokes per round. Colin, Scotty, Justin Thomas, Sepp Straka, Bud Cauley. Obviously not playing in the big events, but that's legit. Playing very good golf right now. In a great spot and one and done. Would you consider making sure to save any top golfers for the BMW or the FedEx? I'm worried about using my aces too early. Are Ryo Im day types enough to finish strong? You shouldn't run out. I mean, I don't know who you've used already, but it might be a tad early to be. I mean, it's April. It might be a tad early, but if you wanted to play Aaron Rye this week, have at it. I bet him to win. I was impressed with how he played last week. T27 on a golf course that's like really not a good fit for him. The first time around Augusta National. Let's ride, Aaron Rye. Let's ride, Aaron Rye. Do you know how hard that is? You know how hard it is to gain 3.7 strokes from tee to green and finish T27 in your first start at Augusta National? You know how hard that is? And now he goes to a golf course that is objectively better for him. Sure, let's go. Oh boy, who are the Hilton Head locals? Well, let's see. There are 3 guys from South Carolina. Oh, by the way, Brian Campbell is from Hilton Head. Jacob Bridgman is from Greenville, South Carolina. I do not know how close that is. Carson Young is from Anderson, South Carolina. I do not know how close that is. There are a ton of St. Simons guys, a ton of Georgia guys, which I know is, I guess, kind of similar, right? It's a southeastern island. Would we argue they're similar? I don't know. What does your betting card look? Oh, it says, what do your betting card look like for Corrales? Oof, I'm not there yet. I'm hoping to get there in the next couple hours, but I'll tell you what my betting card is for this event. And again, don't bet what I bet. I'm a sucker and a loser. You do what you want. Don't spend your money the way I spend mine. Just Cantlay Thomas. Boom, boom. 18 and 25. I can't go down without one more Cantlay. He's made me a fool 2 weeks in a row. I would be a fool to get off now at probably, let's look at this. Go to the course horses. This might be one of the better. Here's Cantlay. Where is, hold on a second. So let's see what his, what is the name of this course? Harbor Town. Okay, Cantlay's played 26 rounds here, 2.3 strokes gained per round. So let's say a minimum of 24 rounds for everybody in this field at all golf courses. Cantlay at Harbor Town is the 5th best player course combo, 2.3, the same as Xander at Scottsdale, better than Ricky Fowler at Scottsdale since 2016, right? Just like crazy, crazy stuff. So I did it. I did it again. Oops. Justin Thomas, 25-1. Aaron Rai, 40. Sungjae, 40. I kind of got talked into the Sungjae by the guys on Sportsline with that show I was on this morning. And I don't know. I don't see it as much, but I kind of got talked into it. The other three were kind of my own doing. Oh, I can never find my spot. Agreed. Hisatsune time. Seems like the perfect spot to run out Brian Harman. Let's look. Let's look, friends. Harman. Brian Harman. Pete Dye specialist. Wins the Valero. Loses 2 strokes from tee to green at the Masters, but he did it mostly on Saturday. The rest of the week was pretty good. History around this place you'd think would be pretty good, and it is. Couple missed guys played here like 20 times. Puts the lights out here. He has not gained fewer than a stroke putting at this tournament in 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 consecutive years. That's got to be a record. I will look this up later. Most consecutive events, most consecutive years, picking up a stroke putting at least. That has got to be a record. The approach play isn't always very good. I guess. Yeah, sure. Brian Harman. That's a good one. Can't stop thinking about Daniel Berger. Does he have a shot? Does he have a shot? He almost won here. He almost won here in 2020. Played well in 2021 and 22, I believe. Playing some of the best golf that he's played since then. Just had a top 12. Look at this. Of course he can. Of course he can, Laura. Or maybe it's Laura. Maybe you're from Spain. Who is a good first round leader? We're going to go to the power rankings. We're going to go to strokes gain distribution. We're going to go to the last 100 rounds with a minimum of 50. We're going to go to strokes gain total 5+, meaning how often do they gain 5 or more strokes to the field? We are going to settle on Ryan Gerard as the long shot or Shane Lowry, who has picked up at least 5 strokes to the field in 10% of his rounds in the last 100. It's a lot. It's second to only Scotty Scheffler. We are going to mute Sean for saying Baba Booey, and we are never letting him back in the chat again. Hey, Rick. Love the Wednesday time slot. Did Matt Fitzpatrick, also throw Matt Fitzpatrick into that conversation about guys who found a little something at Augusta National after playing miserable golf. Add him to that conversation. He was still pretty bad at the Masters. He played 1 good round on Thursday, picked up 2.5 strokes gained, lost every other day. He just did it in the right order. I know he's won this event. I know his family used to vacation here. I know all of that. I don't think strokes gained lighthouse views is enough to make up for what is easily the worst golf we have seen Matt Fitzpatrick play in quite some time. I hope he does. I love Matt Fitzpatrick. I hope he wins by 1,000 shots this week and gains across the board, and we can be all happy-pappy together moving forward. I just don't think it's going to happen. You can't lose 3 strokes a start and be competitive on the PGA Tour. You cannot. I agree. Wednesday is the best day. Deep dive on Eric Cole. I typed deep. Why did I do that? My brain is fried. Eric Cole. I know, but before I scroll down, I know it's getting better. Let's see how good. Okay. This is kind of vintage Eric Cole. When Eric Cole's goes well, it is approach and it is putting. It's always been the case. He has now picked up, what is that? 7 strokes on approach in his last 12 rounds. He has now picked up 10 strokes putting in his last 12 rounds. Really good sign. Do you know why he loses so many strokes off the tee? Because he is wickedly inaccurate. I'm sorry. Yes, no, that's what I meant. Wickedly inaccurate, and also he's not very long. Well, I guess we can maybe hide those here. I'm in on Eric Cole. Sure, why not? Let's just do it. Am I in on Nick Dunlap? No. Pretty sure he has the yips. He'll figure it out, though. What's the best way to show in the custom model who are the best off the tee players on club down courses such as here or Pebble Beach? Well, you could just add strokes gained Pebble Beach, strokes gained short courses is probably the best one, quite honestly. How much do you invest in recent history and course history? I would say it depends. The $1 million answer, right? That here course history matters. In general, I like recent history a lot more. Recent form to me is reigns supreme. However, there are unique golf courses on the PGA Tour schedule where history is more important. I believe that this is one of them. I've answered these. I'll do a deep dive on Pierceson Coody. Again, I'm behind on Punta Cana stuff, but let's look at Pierceson. Last played the Club Car Champ. Here's a good ad for RickRunGood.com. Corn Ferry Tour results. Also, Live Golf strokes gained, European Tour strokes gained, all that fun stuff. Yeah, he's been bouncing back and forth between the Corn Ferry and the PGA Tour. His Corn Ferry Tour results are awesome. His PGA Tour results are okay. This probably skews more towards a Corn Ferry Tour event, quite honestly. Played here last year, finished T18, picked up 5.8 strokes to the field. Yeah, sure. He's probably the favorite, isn't he? Oh, he's nice. $8,500 on DraftKings. Why did I think he was the favorite? Hold on. Let me look at, again, told you I was a little bit behind here. Let's go to the, so if you go to the cheat sheet, I've got multiple fields loaded in here. So you can do Corrales, you can do China. Oh, Keith Mitchell is the favorite. Right. Oh, actually, this is why. Because I had it sorted by strokes gained total over the last 36 rounds, and Pierceson Coody is number 1. That's why I thought he was the favorite. Because I saw Pierceson Coody, Alex Smalley. I thought they were 1-2. It's technically Keith Mitchell and Alex Smalley. So Pierceson is the man. You bring any Masters merch home. So the big boy is that guy right there. If you're watching on YouTube, that is the 2025 Gnome. We're looking for a name. This is Max Noma. That's from 2024. That's Max Noma right there. So we're looking for a good name for this guy. Armina thinks it's Dave. It's not Dave. She saw Dave Matthews while we were in Augusta. I guess we both did, but she happened to be excited about it. I really didn't get myself a lot. I got myself a black shirt. I wanted a black shirt with the logo. I got a hat, and then I bought stuff for other people. Last year I spent just an ungodly amount, and I would have done it again this year, but I just, I have everything I need. Sitting in a one and done, 51 out of 165, so top third. Thoughts between Morikawa, Lowry, and JT? If I'm you, I'm playing JT. Do you think there's any chance to see Spieth get the career slam at Quail Hollow? There's always a chance, but it's going to be like 0.5%. That's what's so crazy about the Rory thing. It's like Rory was one of the favorites for 11 straight years or something like that, right? So it was still more likely to happen eventually. Ah, boy. So Spieth, not so much. Where in the world is Alex Noren? Didn't he just play one of those Texas events? Or am I making that up? No. Whoa. Has he really not played since October? Is that why you're asking? I don't know. Is he hurt? I don't know. The answer is I don't know. I haven't thought about him in a while. The Volvo China Open on the DP World Tour. Is it a complete lottery? First time venue, I believe. Are you aware of Angel Ayora? Guys, a future major champ. Woof. Does the data back this up? No. I mean, he seems good, though. So plays a lot of DP World Tour golf. Played on the Puerto Rico Open earlier this year. Seems to drive it well. Has some approach problems. Has some putting problems. Gets some decent results here and there. But I would be surprised if he was a future major champion. When is it too soon to start talking about the Ryder Cup? You don't have to worry about that. It's never too soon. Dude, the European team, think about all the guys who have won in 2025 who are going to be European Ryder Cuppers. Rory 3 times. Victor. Sepp. There's more. I just can't think of them off the top of my head. And then Rosie still playing great golf. They're going to be stacked. I could talk myself into a European win. Naomi McIlroy. That's pretty funny. That's actually really funny. I keep hearing people worry about a Masters hangover. Is there any data to support that, or is it speculation? I think it's mostly speculation. I'll run some like post major stuff later, but I think that is, mostly speculation. I've got allergies coming out the wazoo from my allergies were so bad in Augusta. Let's see. Got to hear a good Daly story. All right. So here's the John Daly experience. We get to Hooters, which is how every good John Daly story starts. We get to Hooters. He has the entire back half of it, like the porch and all that stuff. So he has his own entrance. So if you want to hang out with Jake D, you got to go around back. And this guy has got merch. It's actually very good looking merch of everything all over the place. And people are crawling over themselves to get it and to get autographs with him and to get photos with him. And he is seriously one of like the most charismatic guys ever, right? Like he just makes you feel like you're having a good old time and old JD is going to take good care of you and all that stuff, right? It's just like welcomes you with open arms. It's a sight to see, man. He treats everybody. It's very, very interesting. And, we go up, we introduce, he knows the promotion that we're running and all that stuff, obviously. And he's like, oh yeah. He said something like, I'm going to try to get him. He's like, oh man, we're going to have some fun out there. And I was like, I'm not sure I'm going to survive this. I'm not sure I can keep up. I'm not sure if I will survive 18 holes of golf with John Daly. He was very excited to take a picture with Arbina. I'm way more excited to see her than me, which totally get. But yeah, he is a character, man. And he lives up to exactly what you'd expect. I don't think it is fake at all. I think he's incredibly genuine and authentic and lives his life. Why does everyone like Rory? How many years since his last major? Well, since his last major, 0.0001 years, because he just won it on Sunday. But before that, 11. And also, Robin, I probably don't think that most people correlate if they like someone with their major championships. He's a great dude. Listen, he has said some stuff where he has had to put his foot in his mouth. He usually will admit when he's wrong. He's usually very candid and transparent. He is a generational player. We have been spoiled by having Tiger Woods and Rory McIlroy almost overlap in the way that they did. Can you please do a deep dive on Davis Thompson? This is Armina's pick of the week. The good news. Flush City. All right. At least 6 strokes on approach in each of his last 2 starts. Positive over his last 6. The problem? Can't putt. Which I guess was the problem before he won as well. But he started to put together like those 2, like, look at this. He plays into it, right? T9, T2, and then the win. Are we seeing that right now? Not really. The putter is not making its natural progression. What's up? I legit might have stopped following pro golf if Rory didn't win. There was I won't out the source, but somebody in the media center was like, my take is that whether Rory wins or loses today, this should be the last round of golf he ever plays, which I thought was hilarious. Either you go out on top, the ultimate pinnacle, the mecca of a career grand slam at the Masters, you just go out on top, or if you blow this, you just like walk into the ocean and never come out. Just like, I just think that is hilarious. But yes. Can you go over Spieth's ball striking stats at Harbour Town? Yeah. So we'll go to Spieth. We'll pull up his, while I pull that up. Yes. Glover for you, Nate Dogg. Jordan Spieth at Harbour Town, ball striking numbers. Last year, little negative. Year before that, picked up about 7. Year before that, picked up about 9. And then those were by far his best. Did okay in 2015, but that was a decade ago. So a little bit of a mixed bag, but 2 really, really high-end ball striking weeks in 2022 and 2023. Help me understand the 20. Oh, you're talking about this 24, 50, 100. It looks like the last 24 is the leftmost section. Which doesn't make sense. Yes, to me, that makes perfect sense. Right? Let me think about this. 1, 2, 3, 4. Last 50, last 100. Oh, wait. 1, 2, 3. Are you right about this, Justin? Let me look. I'll take a note. Let me look into that. Thanks for the keen eye. Please provide a one-time payment on Patreon so I can contribute to the second cut. So, yeah. Listen, so we have a Patreon. I don't expect people to join, right? Like, if you want to and you want to support, there are some really cool perks for doing it. I don't know if I could do a one-time thing on Patreon. I thought it was only recurring, but I'll look into that, Andrew. I think there's going to be some other stuff too, like merch will help support and stuff like that. Or, during the show, if you want to do like a one-time super chat or something like that, that would work the same way. But, I think just the support, liking and subscribing and retweeting or something like that, I think is valuable as well. But we are still like very, very early in this. I'm trying to figure out what our path is for the next year, right? I would kind of just love somebody to scoop it up. I don't know. I don't know what I would love, but we're very, very early in this. Are you planning on going to Black Desert this year? Way too early to tell. It's like 6 months away. I don't know what I'm doing in 6 weeks. I would love to. Southern Utah is amazing. I would love to go to Black Desert Resort. I just don't know. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba. How is the ownership calculated on rickrungood.com? It is as of like a month ago, it is a new algorithmic model that I've been using for the last, I tested for like 6 months and then finally released it about a month ago. It updates. It now allows me to update on a more what's the word I'm looking for? Like not scheduled time, a more regular time frame, right? Like, like a Tuesday morning, Tuesday afternoon, Wednesday morning, Wednesday afternoon. It allows me to back test better in real time. So it's a calculation. Any life in Carl Phillips? I was just watching Carl Phillips on YouTube last night, like his old stuff, like when he was like 7 years old. Think about that. A guy has been putting his rounds, or his dad has been putting his rounds on YouTube since he was like 6, 4. And now he's a PGA Tour player. That's kind of crazy. Is there any life? No. We are seeing this is the post-win slump, right? How often do we see this? If you watch this show every week, there's always somebody in a post-win slump. Joe Highsmith was in a post-win slump. Carl Phillips was in a post-win slump. It's all these guys who win for the first time and start sniffing themselves. No, I'm just kidding. It's not that. But like, it just happens. They take a breath and they realize they've locked up their job, and it changes the perspective. And golf is just as mental as anything else. This is a post-win slump. We will see Carl come out of it soon, but I don't know if it's happening this week. Favorite 6K play is probably, I'm not afraid to go to Brian Campbell at 6,000. I'm not afraid to go to Sami Valimaki at 6,200. I'm not afraid. The best play is probably Ryo Hisatsune at 6,300. He's probably the best play. I think Eric Cole is okay at 6,400. I think Ryan Gerard is great at 66. Cole is 64. Gerard is 66. Glover at 69. They're all great. What would happen? Wait, hold on a second. In your opinion, what would have to happen to make the Masters in 2026 better? Oh, I thought he was saying for me to make the Masters in 2026. I'm like, that is not going to happen. A lot would have to happen for me to make the Masters in 2026. That's what I thought the question is. To make it better. I already talked about Homa. If he plays well this week, I'm a lot more interested. Oh, God. Tiger would have to come back and win it. Seriously, it is going to be hard to top a career Grand Slam from one of golf's most popular players. After the despair, even during the event, the 4 doubles, the final round, the oxygen was sucked out of Augusta National when he doubled the first hole. It was unbelievable. When they posted his double on 13, there were 5 or 6 separate groans from the crowd, like their heart had been ripped out all across the golf course at the same time. It's going to be hard to top that. It's going to have to be something incredibly historic. Tiger winning again. Or, I can't even come up with a scenario. Maybe if somebody, the same guy wins the next 3 majors and then wins the Masters next year, right? And holds all 4 at the same time. That would be something. But it is going to be really hard to top that objectively. We might never see another career Grand Slam, ever. Or we might see one in 3 weeks at the PGA. Isn't that crazy? Is golf the craziest? Like, we might never, ever see another slam. There's been 6 in the history of golf. And we also might see one next month. That is absolutely nuts. Golf is so weird. I'm trying to go through these questions, Ben. Talked about Akshay. Yeah, I don't love a lot of these guys. I think Spawn is kind of interesting. Akshay, we talked about. I wish he was playing a little bit better. Robert McIntyre, kind of wishy-washy on. Here's the JJ. I saw there was a couple comments about JJ Spawn as well. This is what I would rather see. Struggling at the Masters, which I don't blame anybody for ever, but the strokes gain approach for the last, 9 or 10 starts, plus, gosh, you think he'd be playing better here. He hasn't played well here, but I think he's a better course fit, just doesn't have the good course history. This reminds me of, I used Scotty last year at the Genesis and got $200,000 for him in a year where he made like $30 million. And I was like, I can't. It is sick. Numbers for Dunlap's first round at the Masters. They were ugly. I think he lost 17 strokes to the field. Might have been 18. 16. He lost 16 and a half. 5 off the tee, 6 on approach, 3 around the green, and only 1.5 with the putter. He shot a 90. Short list of golf courses in Vegas. Depends entirely what you want. Do you want pure golf? Go out to Paiute. It's like 35 minutes off the strip. There's 3 courses there. Awesome. If you want to stay on the strip, Bali High, you either love it or you'll hate it. Red Rock Arroyo is good. If you're a high roller, go play the Wynn. It's worth it. If you can get on Shadow Creek, play that too. But that's probably the short list for me. I'm into overtime and I cannot spend too much more time. I have an appointment. If you want to play Henley in a one and done, I am all in on that. That's fine. Assuming you're saving that, that's fine. If I played Harbor Town, I would hit driver everywhere because I'm very, maybe not. Maybe I'd hit 3 wood, but I would probably hit driver everywhere. Where are you on the other golfers with South Carolina ties? Bridgman. Do you keep a record on stars and scrubs versus balanced lineups? I have it somewhere. I don't have it handy though. So I would have to pull that. I mean, I think Brian Campbell with the ties are I think Brian Campbell's the best one. The other ones we looked at, Bridgman, we can pull up Bridgman's profile. Appreciate the super chat here. Let me pull up Bridgman. Greenville, South Carolina. 3rd at Valspar, struggled in Houston, but not in a super bad way. Picked up on approach and putting, which I'm fine with. 3rd at Valspar, approach putter. I think you could do worse than this. He's picked up strokes from tee to green in 5 out of 6. When he gains, he does it in a pretty good way. Loses off the tee sometimes. It's not the end of the world. Has he played here before? He's never played here before. Yeah, I guess the last couple of years it's been a signature event. Yeah, okay. I'm generally positive. Oh, boy. Loving the second cut. Thank you. If you had to bet on Xander or Ludvig to win, who would you choose? I would pick Xander. Listen, I'd buy Xander. Xander is going to snap off and have an unbelievable year this year. He's just too good. He's rounding into form. I'll tell you what, if he gets off to just a faster start, he's in the mix last week. He struggled a little bit on Thursday. And then he had a stretch. He had a stretch when everyone else was playing great golf, where he played the entire second 9 with 9 pars. And then he kicked it into gear. 3.5 strokes gained on Friday, 2.3 on Saturday, 1 on Sunday. A ho-hum T8 where he gains basically in every single category. We can consider him back, in my opinion. It's sick. Fellow Virgo. That's right, September 7th. First round and 2-ball matchups. Sungjae over Tommy. I think I'm okay with that. Ricky over Phillips. I do not want to make. I would stay away, but I guess Ricky is fine. JT over Conners. The thing with that is Conners is like such a solid baseline. JT is definitely, obviously, way more likely to win, but in a matchup situation, I think Conners is probably the play. Hughes over Gerard. I prefer the Gerard side. Poston over Bobby Mack. I do prefer the Poston side. Did Lucas Glover? Nick Taylor popped up in somebody's model. Let's see what's going on with Nick Taylor here. I think Victor is going to be okay. I think that this is a course where you might miss a few more greens and have to hit some around the green shots, which is not great. They're not hard shots, but I also don't think he gets to drive it. I think Quayle's going to be awesome for him. I think it's like a below average course fit for Victor, although he can win anywhere, obviously, but I think it's just a little bit below average. Taylor losing the approach play is concerning. Now 3 in a row, and it's really impacted his results. That's not good. Michael Kim has struck it so well and is usually like a longer iron guy. Hard to hate him, right? He's still putting it together. Again, I think it's on the opposite side of a good course fit for him. I think it's a below average course for him, but this is a really good stat profile that probably plays everywhere. In on Poston, what did you and Mina think about Severance? I don't know. I enjoyed each episode the same. I enjoyed them all equally. And I thought, I don't want to spoil it for anybody. I hate spoilers. Army's like, do you want me to tell you the plot? I'm like, no, I want to go in blind and just like without anything. But yeah, I loved it. It was pretty cool. Why good drive over basic accuracy? Good drive percentage means you gave yourself a shot at the green, right? So you either hit the fairway or you hit the green. Because there are obstacles, even off fairway shots, just hitting the fairway is not good enough here. Oh, quit your job, Jeanette. Says, sorry, I was working and missed the start of the show. That's an unexcusable. All right. Ludvig Nomberg. That's not bad. Nomi Finau. Pretty good. Rory Nomelroy. Rick the red nose. Dude, my nose is so red, isn't it? Allergies, man. Hideki Matsunoma. That's really good. Hideki Matsunoma is really good. All right. Andrew Novak. You guys are pretty creative. All right. I think I'm done. Because these are all just gnome things. Justin Nomus. These are all just gnome comments or comments that I've answered, which is fine. But I'm just making sure that there's nothing super. Greg Noman. That's pretty funny. I did not spend $30K. I'll tell you what. I'll tell you. Last year, I think I spent $1,400, which was a lot. I did some giveaways though, and I got stuff for other people. I think this year I spent $500, but maybe 100 of that was for me. It was mostly for everybody else. Billy Norshall. Normshall. All right. I have to go. I have like 7 minutes until I have my next thing. So I appreciate the oh man, sorry. There are some questions I want to get to, but I really can't. I have to go. But here's what we're gonna do. We'll continue to do this Wednesday, 3 p.m. Eastern. We are back, baby. Everything you need is in the link in the description below. I appreciate you guys. We will continue to rock and roll. Mina, close it.